Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin Donahue. I'm the City Administrator, and this weekend residents and visitors to D.C. will gather in our city for the 4th of July in our nation's capital. I've had the pleasure and privilege of attending these events for over 30 years, and last year was an event that I hadn't seen before, which is I was on the National Mall on the 4th of July. I took a photo of the crowd in front of me, and I could count, I think, each and every person on the National Mall. A big change from the tradition we have of people gathering. Well, on behalf of Mayor Muriel Bowser, I'm happy to say now that D.C. is open. Our restaurants are open, our museums are open, and we're going to welcome visitors like we have for generations before us to D.C. for the national celebration of the 4th of July. Now, there's a reason we can do this, is that we take vaccination seriously, and we encourage everyone to get vaccinated. Be safe. If you have to wear a mask, please wear a mask. And you can find out where you can get vaccinated at coronavirus.dc.gov. Now, I'm here to introduce a number of leaders of our city in the National Park Service who will talk about what to expect this weekend. With me will be Robert Conte, the Chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, John Donnelly, Chief of D.C. Fire and Emergency Medical Services, Carrie Speranza, Deputy Director of Homeland Security and the Emergency Management Agency, Chris Geldart, Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice, and the National Park Service. And I want to thank their employees who will work all weekend and work hard to make sure events of this weekend are safe, are fun, and we look forward to welcoming the residents of our region and our country and our city back for the festivities this year. And I will turn it over to Deputy Mayor Geldart, who will talk about the events of the weekend.
Thank you, City Administrator Donahue. This year's 4th of July celebration is significant to district residents. It represents a sense of normalcy we've long awaited since the beginning of the public health emergency. And across the district, we'll see things that feel and look very familiar. The events of the 4th will start off at 9 a.m. From 9 till 1, there'll be a reading of the Declaration of Independence, and that'll happen at the National Archives. In Barracks Row, they'll begin their Capitol Hill Community 4th of July Parade at 10 a.m., with the starting point being at 8th and I Streets, and ending up here at the Eastern Market Metro Park. At 11:05 a.m., the Washington Nationals will host, and we believe beat, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Palisades community will host their annual parade and picnic starting at noon, with the route following northwest on MacArthur Boulevard and eventually ending at the Palisades Recreation Center and Playground. The day will wrap up at 9:09 p.m. at the National Mall with the National Park Service and our federal partners' annual fireworks display. While the Fire and Emergency Medical Services will cover fireworks safety later in this presentation, we encourage you to come to the National Mall and find a spot around the district where you can look up and safely enjoy the display. Fireworks are explosives and are best handled by professionals. With this sense of normalcy, as I mentioned earlier, we also have a responsibility to be vigilant. As always, should anyone see something that looks unsafe or dangerous, we urge people to call 911 for emergencies or 311 for non-emergency services. Chief Conte and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department are here today to talk about our patrol strategy, the Fire and Emergency Medical Services to address illegal fireworks, and the Homeland Security Emergency Management Agency will provide an overview of our emergency operations for the holiday. As a city, we are prepared for the 4th of July, and as the City Administrator said, D.C. is open, and we want you to get out and enjoy the district on our holiday. Thank you. Chief Conte.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Good afternoon. I am Robert J. Conte III, Chief of the Metropolitan Police Department here in Washington, D.C. First, I want to thank the MPD officers that work each holiday, our D.C. Fire and Emergency Medical Services crews, and the rest of our agency partners who work together to ensure a fun and safe 4th of July. As we all know, there's no better place to celebrate the 4th of July holiday than here in Washington, D.C. We are elated that after a difficult and challenging year of the public health emergency, we are able to gather together again to celebrate with friends and family. There are a number of road closures around the National Mall and Tidal Basin that all residents and visitors should be aware of on this day. With the influx of possible large crowds and traffic congestion, residents and visitors to our city should take into consideration additional travel time. As communities across our region and country are preparing to celebrate our nation's Independence Day, we at MPD have the privilege of ensuring the safety of those celebrating in our nation's capital. In coordination with our federal partners, we have been sharing information and monitoring all potential threats to ensure this year's holiday goes on as planned. While we are anticipating a celebratory event, it is important that everyone keep a watchful eye and report anything that seems suspicious. Just like all the previous large-scale events, MPD has increased staffing levels to ensure events in and around the National Mall are properly secured without sacrificing the quality of police service we provide to our neighborhoods and district residents. If you are planning on driving, please understand that many streets around the National Mall will be closed to traffic. Specific road closures are available on MPD's website and social media channels. Additionally, MPD has advised the public about watercraft restrictions on the Potomac River that will go into effect on July 4th. As always, if you plan to watch the fireworks from your boat on the Potomac River, you must adhere to the designated anchorage zone. Watercraft operators will be expected to follow the restrictions and remain alert for posted signage and buoys. We recommend that all watercraft operators and passengers not only have a life jacket or a personal flotation device, but to wear it at all times while boating. If you're using public transit, make sure to check the street closures ahead of time. Find out which metro station is most convenient for your travel, and most importantly, give yourself plenty of extra time to arrive. While we encourage everyone to enjoy the holiday and have fun, we would like to remind everyone to use safety precautions, common sense, and good judgment. I also want to encourage everyone to speak up and protect our community by reporting any suspicious activity. If you see something, as the Deputy Mayor said, say something. Call MPD at 202-727-9099, or you may text us anonymously at 50411. I look forward to another year of our city celebrating together during this holiday. Thank you, be safe, and I will now hand it over to my colleague, Chief John Donnelly of DC Fire and Emergency Medical Services.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Donnelly of the DC Fire and EMS Department. As we look forward to celebrating the 225th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, I want to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday, and to acknowledge the DC Fire and EMS workers that will be out protecting both the community and the events downtown. We're going to put additional resources across the city to make sure that on what is traditionally one of our busiest days of the year, we're there to serve and to keep you safe. With that said, there are a few things that the community can do to keep it that way, to have a great holiday and to be safe. Fireworks have always been a part of the celebration, but they are dangerous even when handled properly. In the district, any firework that moves, flies, or explodes is illegal. Legal fireworks can only be bought from the large approved fireworks stands that you see around the city. Don't buy fireworks from anybody else. When using legal fireworks, place them on a firm surface, away from structures or any other combustibles. Stand well back after they have been ignited. Do not allow fireworks into the hands of children. Even though sparklers are less than 20 inches long and are legal in the district, they burn at 1,800 degrees and cause serious injuries and can ignite clothing. Always keep a bucket of water handy to soak the fireworks once they have been used, and never touch pick up a firework that appears to be a dud. The best and safest way to enjoy fireworks on the 4th is to leave them to professionals. Grilling outside is another holiday favorite. All grills need to be placed well away from homes, deck railings, and out from under the eaves and overhanging branches. Keep your grill clear of fat and grease. Never leave it unattended. And please, no grilling on balconies. If you use starter fluid, only use charcoal starter fluid. Never add charcoal fluid or any other flammable liquids to a fire. When lighting a propane grill, always leave the lid open to prevent buildup of flammable gas that could explosively ignite. When the cooking is over, coals should be allowed to cool and then disposed of in a metal container. That container needs to remain outside and clear of your home, garage, or any other combustibles. If you grill on a deck, please make sure you have a non-combustible surface directly beneath the grill. Another hot topic for the 4th, all summer in fact, are the sizzling temperatures the season brings. Your best defense against heat-related illnesses is to constantly hydrate. Water will be your best friend. Wear light-colored, lightweight, and loose-fitting clothing, and don't forget that sunscreen. Whenever you can, stay in air-conditioned comfort or find some shade, especially during the hottest parts of the day. Our summer motto is, let's not meet because of the heat. DC Fire and EMS wants you and your family to have a fun 4th of July and a safe one as well. Please enjoy. I'm going to introduce Carrie Spranza from HSEMA.
Good afternoon. My name is Carrie Spranza. I am Deputy Director of the DC Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency, or HSEMA. HSEMA works with our local, state, and federal government and private sector partners to plan and coordinate for events just like the 4th of July. Mayor Bowser is activating the district's EOC Emergency Operations Center on Sunday, July 4th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The EOC activation allows HSEMA to coordinate and collaborate with partners throughout the day. During an activation, some of the things we focus on include timely and accurate information sharing, providing resource support, and working with partners to provide health and human services to promote the safety and well-being of residents and visitors. We ask residents and visitors to sign up for the district's alert notification system, which we call Alert DC. Alert DC is your personal connection to real-time updates for all things traffic, weather, and more, and not just for the 4th of July, every day of the week. You can sign up for these alerts by going to Mayor.dc.gov. City Administrator, I'll turn it to you for questions.
Thank you. We will take questions, first on-topic questions, then off-topic questions for myself or anyone behind me. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. I have a question for the Chief Police, Chief Conte. Chief, I noticed today, as I was driving around, that patrol cars have lights flashing. Is that something particular for the 4th, or I just noticed it?
No, they've been doing that for years, Sam. Where you been, man? It's actually something that started back when Chief Ramsey was here, and a lot of the times the lights on the cars are flashing, but it really kind of gives a sense of police omnipresence as we are out in community. As you mentioned today, you just happened to notice it today, but they've been doing that for quite some time.
I guess I hadn't noticed it quite that much.
It's okay.
So will there be a larger police presence over the next few days? Is that because of the holiday?
Yeah, so we have the entire department will be activated for the 4th. So we have civil disturbance units that will be at the ready. We have people who will be doing traffic. We'll be doing patrols in community. We'll be engaging community. So yeah, it's an entire department activation for the 4th.
We have heard something about domestic terrorism threats. Is there any, as you all say, credible threats out there?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So that's something that we're always concerned about, always keeping our ear to the ground on. We work with our partners in the FBI, monitoring any and everything that's out there. The residents and visitors of the District of Columbia should take comfort in knowing that the Metropolitan Police Department is prepared.
I would hate to have Mike come all this way and not have an opportunity to speak. And I'm just wondering if you can tell us if there's anything new this year that people need to know about as far as the Park Service. And one thing that I also observed on my way here today is I don't see as much of the snow fencing up around some of the inner islands, around the places that are usually fenced off to pedestrians by this time haven't been. Will we not see as much of that this year?
The first question, as far as what's new, there's not much new. For folks that have been coming for years will recognize the footprint, access points, secure area from 14th Street west to the Lincoln Memorial, prohibited items. All of that's on the website, nps.gov/FOJU. You're going to likely see less fencing and less footprint because some of the events aren't taking place this year. Normally, there would be fencing in place for the Folklife Festival. The cancellation of the parade has allowed us to eliminate a number of the street closures and a number of the areas that wouldn't be fenced. But the secure area footprint for the fireworks, the same it is for most years when we're firing from the reflecting pool, and we are back to firing from the reflecting pool this year.
And will people still have to pass through a checkpoint and be searched going onto the mall? Will they go through that?
From 14th Street west, Washington Monument Grounds, Lincoln Memorial, there are access points. They're subject to bag search going through that. East of 14th Street, the mall panels back towards the Capitol, no access points there, open business as usual.
And then I'm wondering if somebody can talk about, once the fireworks are over, getting everybody out of the city, traffic-wise, public transportation-wise.
Yeah, so we have a full deployment of our officers. Once the fireworks are over with, the Metropolitan Police Department officers will be assisting with the egress of traffic as well as pedestrians, guiding visitors and residents towards metro stations so that we can get folks safely home, safely out of the city.
And while you're there, you talk about keeping everybody safe at a time when we're seeing an awful lot of violence in D.C.
Yeah.
And most recently, one that has caught a lot of attention is the shooting on R Street of a completely innocent person walking down the street, minding his own business, and is hit by a stray bullet in what appears to have been a pretty large shootout. What do you say to people who might be afraid to come to D.C. because of all the violence that they're hearing about? And then if you could give us any update on that specific case.
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, condolences to that family. It's a very tragic case, and I think, as we see more and more of these types of incidents across the country, I think you may recall that it was another tragic incident in Annapolis recently where a stray bullet took the life of an innocent person. I think it just really goes to, Mark, what we've been saying, for a long time now with respect to guns in the hands of individuals who should not have them. I think we have to continue to be focused on addressing those issues with respect to gun violence in our city. I think that as we see movement recently from the White House with respect to things that will be happening with law enforcement agencies specifically focusing in on gun violence, I think that all of those things together really brings the attention to the issue. We got to get guns out of hands of people who should not have them. And when we do get those people in custody, then there's an accountability piece there that has to happen. So I'll keep beating that drum with respect to keeping our city safe, making sure that we get the right guns out of the wrong hands. But for people who are coming to the events here in the District of Columbia, these events have been going on for years, and we will ensure that the city is safe and ensure that the residents and visitors who come and take part in the festivities or the beautiful restaurants that we have in our city, that people will be safe in our city.
Chief, any update on that? Can we go to off topic?
Let me just ask, are there any other on-topic questions?
Yeah, well,
we'll come back.
I guess this is on topic. Chief, one thing I wasn't clear on, I'd asked about, is there a credible threat of, let's say, domestic terrorism during the holiday? Is that something that you're looking at? I wasn't clear on that.
There's no credible threat, Sam, but again, we're the nation's capital, right? So there's always a threat that exists here. But I mean, any and everything that we see, any and everything that we hear, those are things that we're working with our federal partners on to make sure that the citizens and visitors to the District of Columbia are safe. Again, we're in the nation's capital, man, and we always have You know, there's always a potential for any issue anywhere, but we keep that in the back of our minds. Again, I think certainly as represented by our posture within the agency, as we do for every 4th of July, we have the entire department activated. So that should say something about, you know, how serious we take keeping our residents and visitors safe.
And activated, what does that mean? 12-hour shifts or exactly what?
It means everybody's working. Everybody's working that. So ordinarily what people would have off on Sunday, and everybody will be working on the 4th.
And what about away from the mall and out in the neighborhoods?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why, because as we move some resources to downtown, we have to make sure that our neighborhoods are safe and protected, and that's very important to me as well, to make sure that we have sufficient staffing in communities so that residents are safe in their neighborhoods. And your question, Mark, what was? Oh, I'm sorry.
One more pass for any other on-topic questions. Okay, Mark.
Just if there's any update on that shooting on R Street, was anybody else injured? Do you have any suspects, any video, anything at all you can update us
Yeah,
with?
thank you. Good question. We just released some video. I think it was yesterday evening on that. The video shows a white vehicle with occupied by 4 individuals. We believe these individuals obviously are involved in this shooting, which is the reason why we released it. We're asking for the public's help to review that video. You can certainly go to our webpage. I think a lot of the media stations currently have it on their websites as well, but if you go to the MPD's webpage, you can see the video of this vehicle when it arrived and when it left the scene, and these individuals left in a hurry. So we certainly want to talk to them, find out what their involvement is in this, and ultimately bring this very tragic case to closure for that family.
Do you know who was shooting at whom, if shots were exchanged?
Yeah, that's part of the investigation. We're working through that now. Again, we're asking for the public's help in that space. If there's anyone who looked at that video and you happen to know, well, this person was in that car earlier, please give us a call, 202-727-9099 or 50411. We're interested to hear any information that you may have that helps us to bring this case to closure.
Any other questions for this afternoon?
Just wondering about where the mayor is. We didn't see a public schedule today. I know last time I heard she was in New York. Is she back, and what are her plans for this weekend?
She has a personal day. She's coming back from New York, and she'll be here this weekend.
Participating in parades?
Yes. I will have folks get to you after this press conference. But she's a personal day today. Thank you, everyone.